So we're going to show you how to make Julia's meatloaf. Now the Julia in Julia's meatloaf is none other than Julia Child. Personal favorite of a lot of chefs. I mean, she's kind of the grand dame of cooking, right? So we're going to show you her meatloaf today. Now, I've done a couple of things ahead of time. I've already got our meat in here. Now, if you look at the recipe, it actually calls for some cooked rice, or you can actually substitute some pork. So we've substituted pork today for the cooked rice. And I went ahead of time and got some onions sauteed. We sauteed these in butter until they were just very lightly caramelized, just a little color on them. So meatloaf is easy. We're going to add most of every ingredient here, and we're going to mix it all up, all right? The only thing we're going to not add is the ketchup. That's going to come on later. And the bay leaves, which are going to go on top once we're done. So let's get everything in. Let's get our onions in. We've got some chicken stock, 2 eggs, garlic. We have got some cheddar cheese, shredded cheddar, breadcrumbs, some salt. Now it calls for salt. Now normally we season to taste. If you ever watch us cook, and if you're ever cooking at home, kind of hard to do that unless you're going to break off a piece and cook this ahead of time to make sure it's seasoned right. But if you follow the recipe, you're going to be good on the salt. So let's go ahead and get some salt in there, and we'll crack some pepper in. All right. Then let's go in with our herbs. We've got our oregano, allspice, paprika, and our thyme. Now, if you're a little squeamish, you can put some gloves on. But hey, you know what? There's nothing cleaner in the kitchen, should be, than your hands. So get in there, mix all this up really, really well, okay? So that's what it's all looked like. Everything's incorporated. We're going to form this into a loaf. Now you can use a loaf pan or a couple of loaf pans. You can use a casserole dish. We're going to go with a sheet tray. Now I've put some parchment paper down here, just kind of ease with cleanup. And I'll give you a little tip. If you spray your pan first and then put your parchment down, it'll cause it to stick, and it won't move around when you're trying to put something sticky on there like a meatloaf. So let's go ahead and get it in. We're going to kind of press this guy out. It's a big meatloaf. Maybe a football shape, whatever you want there. All right, looking good. Now the bay leaves, we're going to put 3 right on top there. Now, into the oven, 350 degrees for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, you're going to pull it out, and you're going to take your ketchup. You're going to spoon it over the top of the entire meatloaf, and then back into the oven at 350 until the internal temperature reaches around 160, 165. Then you want to pull it out, let it rest for at least 15 to 20 minutes, and then you're ready to eat, okay? We'll see you back here in just a little bit. So there's our meatloaf. Boy, it's pretty. We got 165. We're going to let it rest for 20 or 30 minutes, and we're ready to cut into it. Now, meatloaf for me holds a special place in my heart. Maybe it does for you too. My grandma used to make it for us all the time, and I love her meatloaf. Julia's is right up there with it. It's great, great meatloaf. Give it a try. You'll be happy you did. This is an easy recipe, unbelievable flavor.